Nepal is a nation endowed with geological and natural grandeur, along with cultural richness. The people here are friendly and helpful, whilst their lives remains entangled in deprivation, owing to geographical remoteness, inaccessibility of road and education. Many people, owing to poverty and lack of awareness, are having to live with chronic diseases. In the absence of access to health facilities, time and even unnecessary money is being wasted in the treatment process. Among these, cataract is a front-running problem. There are many people in the nook and corners of the country living with cataract, which can be treated within 10 minutes through a minor operation. Vision 2020 Nepal has been conducting eye camps with a slogan, "No more blindness," in these nooks and corners of the country. In the year 2016, Vision 2020 Nepal held eye camps in various parts of Dhading, while camps were held in Ramechhap, Dolakha and Sindhupalchok in 2017. A few eye camps were rescheduled for 9th to up to 16th December owing to the Parliament and Provincial Assembly elections. The Sertung village can be reached after a tedious 9 hours journey on a local bus and a 10 hours consistent walking from Dhading Besi. 98% of the inhabitants in this beautiful village situated in the lap of the Ganesh Himal are Tamangs. Sertung was the chosen destination this time for Vision 2020 Nepal, which has been rendering its services in remote settlements. This was the second after Those village in Ramechhap, where the eye camp was held in 2016. Early at 6 a.m. in November 2016, a 6-member team led by Dr. Kamal Khadka left for Sertung. The 3 hours journey up to Dhading Besi from Kathmandu was quite comfortable. The jeep journey on a bumpy and rough road from Dhading Besi onwards continued up to 10 p.m. until we reached Dundule. After an overnight stopover at Dundule, we started afoot for Sertung with food, medicines and other amenities laden over mules. At 6 p.m., the convoy arrived Sertung. The warm greetings of the denizens there helped us forget the lethargy from the journey. But the very sight of the dismantled schools and houses reminded us of the devastating earthquake of April 2015. We could set up a tented operation theatre in the only intact classroom of the school there. This was the first health camp being conducted in the village, thus the influx of patients intensified since 8 a.m. Hence, eye check-up of the patients was started and the needy underwent operations as well. Among those undergoing the operation were 6 bilaterally blind people. One among them was Maila Tamang. Until 3 years ago, the life of Maila Tamang, along with a son and a daughter, was running smoothly. He was a renowned witch doctor of his village. He had cured diseases of several ailing people, even from other villages. Sertung is the world for Maila Tamang. He has seen neither any cities nor any cars in his lifetime thus far. Sometimes he shares of seeing an airplane. Some 3 years ago, Maila's son left for Qatar in search of work. Ever since, his daughter-in-law and a 5-year-old grandson are his sole companions. After learning about the eye camp in the village, it was Maila's daughter-in-law who carried him on her back and brought him to the campsite for treatment. Following all the necessary tests, Maila's both eyes were diagnosed of cataract, which had blinded him. Maila underwent operation for one eye the other day and again had an operation for the second eye the day after. Thereafter, he is once again able to see the world with his both eyes. Not only the doctors, but also the other 5 patients besides Maila Tamang who successfully underwent cataract surgery are overwhelmed beyond bounds. After receiving necessary instructions from the team of doctors and thanking for the doctors' godly gifts, they left for their respective abodes. On the last day of the camp, I had the wish to meet Maila. After an hour's walk, when I arrived the village, Maila, with his black glares on, was busy talking to the fellow villagers at their house. Just as I greeted, "Namaste, Maila Dai," he exclaimed, "Oh my God, the God has arrived," and took me to his house. For 81-year-old Maila Tamang, his humble cottage, worn-out blankets and beddings, a cup of old plastic bottles were his world. To my query on how he managed to go to the toilet while blinded, Maila said he held the rope and followed it to the end. I could only imagine the ordeals. As I was getting set to return, Maila offered me some popcorn to eat. He said that was all he could offer besides his blessings. He extended his gratitude to the organization and people who granted him a second life. With a wish at heart to see us again if ever he gets to visit the city, his hands bade us farewell. Those is a remote village in Ramechhap district. It takes 12 hours drive from Kathmandu to reach this village, which is naturally a heaven, but is deprived of other service and facilities. In order to hold a free eye camp, a team of Vision 2020 Nepal reached this remoteness in March of 2017. Right upon arrival, our team got started with setting up a temporary camp along with an operation theatre. Like in other areas, people started arriving in encouraging numbers to the camp the very next day. Among them was Hari Bahadur Bosnet, an elderly. 78-year-old Hari Bahadur Bosnet had been living in the dark since the past 2 years after both his eyes were blinded. Bosnet's 2 daughters were married off and lived with their respective families. He lived with his 74-year-old spouse Kavita Bosnet. His wife Kavita made several efforts to help find a cure to his eyes. She said, "We went to many witch doctors, finished all the poultry and cattle in the house. Instead of getting better, his visibility got worse. Besides considering it as a curse from the past birth and waiting for death, we had no alternative." The medical team held an intensive checkup of Hari Bahadur's eyes at the camp. The examination revealed that both his eyes had cataract. With the advice from the medical team, both the eyes of Hari Bahadur were operated for treatment. The next day, when we removed the blindfold from his eyes, the happiness of Hari Bahadur overwhelmed us. Following the dressing of his eyes, he was given a pair of glasses and subsequently held a brief conversation. He said, "Until 2 years ago, I used to do my chores and worked at the farm myself. The fields are remaining barren since the past 2 years. I lost all the poultry to the witch doctors." He was carried on the back all the way for 4 hours to the site after learning that a camp was coming to the village. His wife Kavita says they had mortgaged their house for 4,000 rupees and brought along for treatment, and of the amount 500 had been paid to the porter. Hari Bahadur, who had lost his hope that his eyes could be cured ever again, holds his wife after getting back sight of both his eyes and says, "I hadn't seen you since the past 2 years. I would wonder how you would look now. I wondered if you had aged tremendously and if you could walk. Nevertheless, you look just the same, only that your hair has grayed a bit."
यसको अनुहार देख्दै थियो हजुर देखे श्रीमतीको अनुहार देखेँ मैले
हो
देखेँ
कस्तो हुनुहुन्छ त उहाँ
यस्तै कि त्यस्तै भइ
Many people were treated for eye ailments at this camp. Nevertheless, the Vision 2020 Nepal team is extremely proud of its success to give back sight to the bilaterally blind. This has added impetus to the aspiration to reach to the remote places and extend services free of cost. Vision 2020 Nepal is a non-profit organization. The organization was incepted in the year 2008. In the initial stages, it used to hold 1 or 2 eye camps in Bigu and Singoti of Dolkha district. While partaking in the capacity of the founding chairman of this entity in one of the eye camps in Khandbari of Songkhla Sabha, I met a social worker from the United States of America, Mr. Larry Gilson, who has continued to be a hand of support to Vision 2020 Nepal. Mr. Larry is the founding chairperson of Focusing Philanthropy. The financial support he has extended to Vision 2020 Nepal shines bright in the eyes of those who have received back their sight from the free eye camps held in 6 to 8 highly remote areas of Nepal since 2014. Vision 2020 Nepal extends deep felt gratitude to the founding chairperson of Focusing Philanthropy, his family and staff members for the support lent to this great and noble endeavor. Vision 2020 Nepal remains ever committed to help several Maila Tamangs and Hari Bahadur Bosnets in the remoteness of Nepal by returning their sight and minimizing avoidable blindness.